Welcome to Blue by 90, your Michigan football podcast. We are three dudes who talk maize and blue. We're your hosts. I'm Kalen, joined by Nate and Jack, and we're here to go over Week 5, Michigan's absolute dismantling of Rutgers. Guys, that felt like a good win, a good little bounce-back win. What do you think?
It felt good.
Yeah.
They really needed that win, and they needed to blow them out like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Gaddis on the sidelines was definitely, something was different about the offense, and I mean, I know it's Rutgers, but that was the best game they played this year.
Yep.
They were in sync, and honestly, there's a lot of positivity going forward now.
Right, yeah, that was the perfect way to bounce back from that embarrassing loss against Wisconsin. I mean, and I think having Gaddis on the sideline was the right move, right? It seemed like the offense was clicking, right? Mm-hmm. And I know Jim said they were having some personnel issues with him up in the booth, so I think he was definitely able to solve that by being directly on the sideline, giving praise to players when they needed to hear it and straightening things out when there were things going wrong.
It was good to see Gaddis getting into it. There's a couple times they showed him on screen. He was yelling and screaming. It feels like you need somebody there to get players in the right spot, get them playing up to a certain potential.
Exactly. He was bringing that emotion to the sideline that I feel like has been missing, and it felt like players were feeding off of that a little bit. Right? Something went wrong. He could be like, "Hey, let's go. We keep it going." Right? And the train just kept rolling. So that felt good.
The offense to me seemed like they were starting to take some more deep shots. Our top 7 receivers all had catches that were greater than 20-plus yards.
That's awesome.
So it's good to see that they're starting to throw the ball downfield, which is what they need. I mean, they still had... So Ronnie Bell was still the top receiver, which is still a little bit concerning to me, but it was good to just see that there was a lot of targets being thrown around to everybody, and they was taking shots downfield. So. Yeah,
I mean, I saw Shea with 276 passing yards. So that's his most of the season, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 74% completion rate.
Yeah, so I mean that's great for him to get his confidence back, things like that. I think he even had a option keeper, a couple of them in the game too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good to see him holding the ball, making some of those reads. He did have one interception where he underthrew.
Yeah, and he had the interception.
But, I mean, like I said, Gaddis was on the sideline to meet him immediately.
Immediate feedback.
First guy that he saw, and he said, this is what happened, this is what you need to do. So I think that was a much better way to go about it. Jack, what are your thoughts on the offense? Anything specific?
Yeah, I mean, kind of go off of what Nate said. I mean, it was Rutgers, but they beat Rutgers the way they should have beat Rutgers. It wasn't something where... we're
2-touchdown win.
Right. We beat them the way that we would have expected us to beat them before the season even started. Right. So that was good to see. I mean, spreading the ball around to a bunch of different receivers. I mean, we had Ronnie Bell had 6 catches, DPJ had 4, Nico had 2, but they all had at least one big catch or big play, which is awesome to see. I mean, Gaddis down on the sideline is definitely making a difference. Shea looked way more comfortable. I mean, again, when we're throwing the ball a little bit more, I think the offense looks better, looks a little bit smoother. So I was really happy to see that. Defense, some big 4th down plays. We beat Rutgers the way we were supposed to beat Rutgers, and again, it was Rutgers. So we'll see what happens next week against Iowa, which is a better team.
It's funny you said that. I did. The first thing I wrote down was, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
It's Rutgers.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that. After the game, Chris Ash said, "Our players, in my opinion, played really hard. I absolutely feel just sick and awful for our guys because they continue to show up every single day." Just the amount of sadness in that line.
That statement.
That statement is just it was Rutgers. But here's the thing. I think this game gives me hope for next week that there is a chance to win against Iowa. If they had come out and won by a touchdown or won by 2 touchdowns, I'd be like, it's going to be a rough week. But I think they have an opportunity to win next week for sure.
I mean, like Jack was saying on the offense, it was great to get the ball spread around to all those receivers, right? We got these NFL wide receivers. Let's take advantage of them, right? Let's give them the ball and let them make plays. I do think that one thing we need to work on, though, is even though we're playing Rutgers, our run game still needs improvement.
Yeah, man. I think it doesn't seem like... It's weird to me that Zach Charbonnet, he had 5 carries this this past game.
Yeah.
Like, why is he in there? Is he hurt?
Is he not?
Is he not? What is going on? Like, he has to be in there in order for us to establish a run game. I think Christian Turner had maybe 11 carries today, but it just doesn't seem like he has that same explosiveness.
Yeah,
that
the average
Zach
rush
does.
per carry was 3.4 yards. You can't have that and establish a run game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a more explosive run game to establish the run so that you can then use those play action and read and RPO passes to keep the defense, guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to improve on that front.
And going back to that 3.4, if you take away kind of these garbage time guys, I mean, even take away True Wilson, we're anywhere between 4.5 and 5 yards a carry, which is not awful.
That's better.
But yeah, I mean, the run game, it wasn't explosive, wasn't anything exciting, which is whatever. We still haven't seen that breakaway touchdown run that you see with all these other big programs.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. Passing game looked good. I'm looking at that.
Yeah, something for them to work on during this week. But I think the big news, Nate, I know you'll love this, on offense, Jay Millie.
Mm-hmm. Joe Milton.
Joe Milton got his time, man.
That's my guy, man.
And he looked comfortable.
Yeah.
He looked great.
It was great to see him
miss that ball.
Yeah. Holy
this is the first time he came out and he didn't throw a pick or something. So, dude, there's that one pass he threw over the middle. I think it was 10 yards to DPJ, and you just heard the
whistling.
Yeah. I don't know which was more impressive, the throw or just the catch trying to hold on to that
because it looked
ball.
like he was the ball behind him. He was like, oh,
exactly. Yeah. He's like, how did it get here so fast? Yeah. No, I mean, Joe looked great. He even had that option keeper one where he ran it for a
1
touchdown,
yard.
And then he had
the pass to Giles Jackson.
that was on the money too.
Yeah,
that was on the money.
That was great. So I mean, hey, future Michigan football, Joe Milton's looking great.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk going into that game. There was an article, Detroit News. They must have spoke to Joe Milton. They said Joe said the furthest I threw one was 85 yards. They wanted me to pitch in high school, but my high school coach told me no. The ball is too little for me. This kid's got a cannon, man, and he can run too. So and you could tell after the game in the locker room, he had smiles. He was happy. That was good. And
I mean, the kid's got literally a Cam Newton frame. He's 6'5", 245.
Big dude.
So I mean, he's got everything going for him, and I'm rooting for Joe Milton, Jay Millie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a lot of positive moments out of this game, which is just something that I think will help the psyche of the team because
build that confidence.
Next 3 weeks, two of those games are critical, and two of them are the type of games that Jim Harbaugh has been not successful in, right?
Exactly.
He's been an underdog. One of them will be next week a home game against Iowa.
Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks, they'll play Penn State on the road. They'll be the underdog in that game.
I think that's 3 weeks away because
three
go
weeks,
Iowa, Illinois, and then Penn State.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree with you. I mean, he needs to get these critical wins like we always talk about. If he needs to win when he's the underdog or when he's away against a ranked team, because that looks great for recruiting. Yeah. And that will continue to build the program.
I think those like you guys were saying, these next 3 games, that can build a lot of momentum going into the rest of the season. If we beat Iowa, beat Illinois, and is that at Illinois? That game?
So.
That is at Illinois. So it's a road game. Just a road game to kind of just get comfortable and get a win.
They got
and then
2
if we
road
can
games.
beat Penn State at Penn State, that builds so much momentum going into Notre Dame. Then we have a Maryland game. Then
and that Penn State team is highly ranked too, right?
They just blew out Maryland. What was it, 59-0?
Yeah. So I mean, I think what we say yesterday, they were 12.
They were 12. They'll probably go into the top 10.
Yeah. So I mean, that might be a Jim Harbaugh at Penn State against a top 10 team.
If we can play like we did yesterday again, it was against Rutgers, but if we can look that comfortable, I feel very good about the rest of the season. But again, we played Rutgers. Try not to get ahead of myself.
I think looking based on these first few games, what I hope for this team is that they can just beat Michigan State. Like, if they can win all the rest of these games and then they can beat Michigan State. Look, I think they'll probably lose to Notre Dame and Ohio State. But if they can beat Michigan State, I think that will be a positive takeaway from the season because now you can say Jim Harbaugh has won that matchup more often than not.
That's true. And I mean...
Wouldn't it be 2-2, though?
No, it'd be 3-2.
Oh, yeah, because it's 2-2 right now. Yep.
No, Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm right there with you. I just want to touch on some of the defense in this game yesterday. They had 6 tackles for loss. That's big because
3.5 by Kwity Paye.
Yeah, well, that's big because I don't know how many tackles for loss they had before that. I want to say they might have had 6 in 3 games before that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was good too to see Khaleke Hudson led the team in tackles, which I expect from him because he's a senior and he has the most experience.
I think he's done that almost every game.
Has he?
I think so.
He's had a lot of tackles. He's actually been.
He's the team leader right now overall for the season.
Oh, really?
He's been playing relatively well, I think. So, but yeah, we held him to 46 rush yards, 106 passing yards. Aiden Hutchinson had a nice stop on
real nice stop
fourth
on
and 3.
Down.
Yeah.
And there was another one. I'm trying to think who it was. I don't know.
There was a 4th and 1.
But
They also went for it on 4th and 1, and it was like a pass play.
was that Daxton Hill that came up and made that stop? I can't remember.
Yeah, Dax Hill had 4 tackles this
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
He robbed some guys.
Yeah,
he did on the punt return.
Oh, yeah.
That was great, man.
Yeah, special teams was looking good. So.
Look good, yeah.
It was good to see some of these new guys. You just keep hearing their names now. Giles Jackson, you see him getting...
Who was even that legacy guy, Tyler Cochran or whatever, who like pulled the ball out on special teams.
That was great.
So
that was great to see. I mean, just like
guys,
things that you just like, if he's already getting down, go for the ball. And he just rips it out. And
so guys playing heads up, too.
Yeah.
So that's great to see. I'm always glad to see that good stuff.
Still, some of the crossing routes do scare me a little bit.
Yeah,
I did
still
that happened maybe 3 or 4
routes,
times.
Yeah. I think, and like I was saying to you yesterday, I think that's something that they've definitely touched on in practice because there's no way
they have to.
They
it killed us against Ohio State. It kills us against every team.
Right. And so, I mean, you see them, like, they'll run it, and you'll see the DBs talking to each other, like, dude, they're doing it again. Like, you know what we have to do, right? And so I think it's in their mind, too. And they know what they have to do. They just have to start executing on a regular basis the defense to that kind of route. So I think if the rate of progress between last week to this week, if it continues at the same rate, I could see this team performing very well by the end of the year, having like an almost Jim Harbaugh 2015 type of year, right?
Yeah.
Where they just continue to improve.
Yeah, the Jake Rudock of the first half of the
that can
season
happen
compared to
Shea
the last
Patterson,
half.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So, I mean, that's an optimistic outlook, taking away all this positivity from this last game.
And I know we've got an agenda here, but when I know last week, I was like, Team McCaffrey, put in McCaffrey, just put anybody else in.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Shea now? Again, he played Rutgers, but I just feel.
I mean,
way
I think
better.
when Shea is comfortable and he knows what he's doing and things like that, I think he can execute the offense the way it needs to be executed.
Yeah.
I don't think he has that, like, we were talking about NFL Street earlier. I don't think he has that NFL Street game breaker ability, right?
Yeah.
And that I think maybe a guy like McCaffrey or Joe Milton might have. But I think, when Shea's in and he's on, the offense is on.
Yeah.
And it's going.
I mean, I think he was pretty much my player of the game this week. I mean, he was the best player on the field, and but then again, we've seen him be inconsistent. So
it's a toss up.
It's a toss up. Yeah, every week you never really know.
I'm glad to see him get his confidence up. I hope it continues to build.
Yeah.
And I hope that he can come out next week improved, guns blazing, and just continue to execute at the same pace that he did this week.
Yeah. And I remember you sent us an article or something about oblique injuries and it takes about 10 weeks to recover.
Right.
I feel like he looked healthy, and I feel like that can't be an excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he looked comfortable enough where he wasn't dealing with anything.
Right.
So anything, like if he starts struggling again moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
just,
with you.
Yeah, you got to pull the cord on that.
Yeah.
I think the offensive line also gave him ample time to throw the ball.
And that's another thing, too, that I was, listening to a couple other things. And, I mean, when you look back at it, it looks like he's just so indecisive with his, first, second, third, fourth read. It's like you got to make a decision at that point.
Yeah. And
it's almost on you instead of the offensive line. Like, if they're giving you enough time to go through your reads and you're not taking advantage of that, that can be on you. So, I mean, I feel like the offensive line is getting a lot of flack for that. Where I mean, maybe they're doing their job.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, everything's got to improve. Again, we played Rutgers. We've got a really tough game next week at home, and I just want to see how we actually compete against a team that's competitive.
I mean, did any of you guys watch Iowa at all?
No, I saw that one. I mean, they're undefeated.
I saw just a couple quick highlights, and they look pretty explosive. They're throwing the ball over the middle. They got guys, jumping up, making plays.
Mm-hmm. They got a veteran quarterback too, Nate Stanley.
Yeah, Nate Stanley.
Veteran quarterback.
He's solid.
Kirk Ferentz is a coach over there, and he's been there for years and years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to come in and do their thing, right?
I'd hope that they can win by a touchdown next week.
Yeah, I mean, any W I'll take. I mean, win by 1, I don't care. So if we get a win over a ranked team, I think that just does another big thing for our confidence. It's another step in the right direction.
Definitely.
So, I mean, even if I'd be happy if we just won the game. But, of course, I mean, if we're winning by more than a touchdown or even just a touchdown, it's even better.
Yeah. So I think we got a big game next week for sure. Definitely looking forward to that. I just want to do a little player spotlight. You guys got anybody you want to like shout out? Maybe put a spotlight on.
I'll let Nick go first because I don't know if I'm.
Well, I already went on my Joe Milton rant.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna pick. I didn't want to take your guy.
Joe Milton, man, he's my guy, man. I just love just seeing him throw the ball.
He just has a cannon.
It's
great.
insane. Yeah.
No, I mean my guy I want to spotlight is Cam McGrone.
That was number 2 for me.
He's got some speed, man.
Dude, Cam McGrone, he looked
quick.
He looked great. I mean, that was his first career start yesterday. He looked fast. He looked physical. He looked like he's been
ready to go.
Studying under Devin Bush, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he was very close to having 2 sacks yesterday. Mm-hmm. He didn't quite get there, but I mean, he put a good hit on that.
I mean,
so
at least he did. He put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
But I mean, he looked good.
Yeah, so I'm just looking forward to see how that guy progresses because, I mean, when Josh Ross is feeling better and they start putting him in, I might start thinking like, hey, put Cam McGrone right next to him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He seems like a name you're starting to hear a lot more.
Yeah, you're definitely going to start hearing about him.
Well, yeah, you guys, I mean, I think we all agree Shea was player of the game, but for the spotlight, I mean, after Milton having a good game, and then McGrone just looking explosive. I got to go Kwity Paye.
Yeah.
Great to see somebody get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Just get around the edge and just put a lot of pressure on him. So, he looked good. I think he looked like what we all wanted to see and expected to see. And see him and Uche just getting a lot of pressure off the edge was awesome.
That was great. So hopefully our defense can come out to play against Iowa. I mean, they're undefeated. I think they're 4-0 or 5-0.
They're 4-0
now.
Mm-hmm.
So
4-0.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
They played Middle Tennessee State this week.
They played Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, they held them to 3.
Hmm.
So for whatever that's worth.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like that team at the beginning of the year is not the same Michigan team we're looking at now. So
yeah.
I mean, what do you got for that? What are you looking for?
I'm just looking for the defense to come out and hold the run game for one. I want to stop the run. I also want to see, they're going to throw the ball too, and I want to see the DBs play up to our standard for sure. And hopefully, I don't know. I'm just taking a random guess off the top of my head for a score. 35-21.
Okay.
Wow.
It's high score.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably say like 21-17 or something.
Okay.
I got 24-21.
24-21.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Michigan. We're all
we're a bunch of homers right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 24-21.
Yeah.
I want to see them continue to throw the ball downfield.
Yes.
I want to see them convert on 3rd down when it's a critical
Get
drive.
the ball to your playmakers.
Yeah, and I want to see the run game be better than it was. I feel like yesterday.
I have a lot of faith in the passing game to those wide receivers. Oh, the other thing I forgot about that I wanted to mention was some of those hurry-up moments. We actually had some legitimate hurry-up moments where the defense was not set up and our offense was ready to snap the ball.
Love it.
I want to see more of that.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
I mean, I feel like that's a lot more of what we were kind of expecting.
That's a Chip Kelly-style hurry-up offense where it's like, go, 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 right?
Just ram it down their throat.
Yeah, and that can even be, you don't have to have the greatest, running back in or whatever.
No,
if they're
keep going.
If they're not set up and you're just running the plays, I mean, that's another big aspect of it that I think we can improve on, right?
That's what I'd like to see too. Like going off of just kind of piggyback off that.
Yeah.
Get the ball to our playmakers. They get a first down. Go, 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 go. Get everybody up to the line and then do read option or just any sort of like just
Right.
anything, just keep the pressure on and keep the foot on the gas pedal, and just keep going, drive.
I feel like we can kind of get bogged down in some of our personnel issues and some of our discussion amongst coaches. Well, what play do you want to run?
And that could be a thing that'll help a lot with guys just being on the field.
Yeah, that's
and
what
it looks
I
like
think.
that's something where he can kind of take more control.
Yeah.
Where I'm hearing rumors about Harbaugh cutting off his headset and just making his own plays previously. So whether I know that's true or not,
I'm
it's just
never
a
dealing
rumor.
with a coach not having a headset on.
After Brady Hoke.
After that, yeah, that's the dumbest
But
thing.
to have Gaddis on there and be with his personnel and just be like, all right, if this happens, boom, you're going in, and then he doesn't have to wait for that relay or he can talk to Jim and then he can talk to his players and then boom, just go. And I think having Gaddis on the sideline for that is. I think we're going to see a drastic change the rest of the season with this offense from what we saw in the first 3 games.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully, I think Iowa will be a good test to see if, against a legitimate opponent,
team,
hopefully he can kind of get that offense really rolling against a good opponent. And then that'll give us a good idea of, all right, where are we headed for the rest of the season?
Where are we really at? What team is this?
Yeah, because, I'll be honest, Rutgers doesn't
That doesn't
count.
tell you anything. It doesn't tell you anything.
Do you want me to say that quote from the coach again?
Yeah. Actually, I heard Butch Jones was interested in the Rutgers job.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Wow. Do they want him, though? Did he do anything at Tennessee?
Yeah.
Dude,
Well, he's with Alabama now,
Yeah, he's
right?
an analyst, yeah.
Every time they pan to Chris Ash on the sidelines, he just looks like so
upset.
sad. Ooh.
He's just like, why?
Yeah, I feel really bad for Rutgers fans that sometimes.
Yeah. No, well, that's kind of all I got.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
guys have
gonna
anything?
bring something up then.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can't talk about Michigan without talking about Ohio State. So,
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
I watched that game last night. I feel like it is hard for anybody putting out rankings to not have them number 1 in the country.
Yeah.
They look unstoppable.
Yeah,
They have a shot to
look
win the
good.
national championship.
They
this
really
year.
did.
It's
Very legitimate shot.
Do you think Ohio State would beat UNC by 1?
No, not even close.
Yeah. No way.
And that's the thing. You think about this stuff. You look, teams. What do we? Who do we just play? Wisconsin stuff like that. They're a good team, but do you see them beating Alabama?
No.
By anything. You see Alabama beating them by at least 2 touchdowns. That's the feeling that I have with Ohio State right now.
Yeah.
And it's scary as hell. Of course, we want to beat them, and we
Yeah.
have them at home. But
Actually,
they've got to be the number 1 team in the country right now.
saw
Justin Fields is amazing.
I saw a
He's
tweet from
ridiculous.
Shannon Sharp, and he said that he thinks that Alabama's defense is not good this year.
Well, they let up 30. Who'd they play last week? They let up 30
They played
something.
what, Mississippi State? They let up 35 points or something like that.
I think Auburn. Who did Alabama play? But either way, their defense
Yeah.
is not. They're lucky they have Tua, and all. Their receivers are just insane.
Right, Jerry Jeudy and
Who is that guy number 6? He had 6 touchdowns, or 5 touchdowns receiving.
unbelievable.
The amount of speed that they have on their roster for their receivers, and
It's
Tua can just put
nuts.
the ball wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Their offense is going to get them through, and I think they're still going to demolish people. But Clemson, I think they drop from the top 2 at least. At least, I think right now, if people look at it where there's no rankings in the beginning of the season, and you're just looking at what teams have done, I don't even think Clemson would be in the top 4. I think they'd be out of the playoff if the playoff came in now.
Oof, yeah.
And I think Ohio State would easily be number 1.
Interesting point, yeah. I would put kind of like a 1A and 1B between
Ohio State and Bama.
Ohio State and Alabama, right?
Yeah.
They've both been very good. They both basically destroyed anybody who's come in their path. Definitely Ohio State has looked
They've
more formidable.
dominant.
But who's Ohio State really played? They played Nebraska, who I don't think is anything of note.
Yeah, but I feel like in the games they have played,
They've been so dominant.
they've been so dominant.
Yeah.
Right? It's oh god. Just looking.
Justin Fields, man, he's no joke.
Later on in the season, we'll get to see Ohio State, Wisconsin, right?
That's in
I'm
2
looking
weeks,
forward
right?
to that. Yeah,
2
I
or
think
3
that's
weeks?
coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. So Ohio
We'll
State,
see them play
Wisconsin.
Michigan State's defense.
Michigan
That's
State's
next week.
defense.
Yeah.
That's next week?
That's next
Whoa.
week.
Wow.
Okay.
That's gonna be a big game.
99% sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Next week. Prime
What do you think
time.
about Michigan State? They actually were able to get some
They
offense
win.
going, right?
Yeah.
D'Antonio, man, he just figures it out. So, I had a lot of respect for Michigan State.
They won in very Michigan State fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they could have blown it. Why would you not just run a play, run the clock down to 1 second, and then go kick the field goal? I think that was just weird. They looked like they were confused as hell at the end there.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh god, it's gonna happen again. They're gonna have 12 players on the field, and something's gonna happen. But I think it'll. I don't know. I want to say I think it'll be a better matchup than people expect, just because Ohio State's so dominant. And I don't think so. I don't know. I think Ohio State's gonna win by 2 touchdowns.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. I just think Justin Fields is such a
he's got
dominant
arm,
playmaker.
He can run.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 weeks after that, they play Wisconsin.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we'll see Ohio State's actually get tested coming up here.
If they win that Wisconsin game by like 2 or 3 touchdowns, oof,
yeah,
you got to put them at 1 then. Oh my gosh, I hate saying that. Jeez.
Who's number 3 and 4 ranks?
Got to be Georgia and
Oklahoma or LSU.
Let me see.
Yeah, LSU
might be number 4. Dude, they look good.
Dude, they.
I like that LSU team. I mean, if you put the playoff in right now, you might have 3 SEC teams in there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Alabama, Georgia, LSU.
Wow.
But I mean, you can't forget about Oklahoma either.
Outside looking in, but they look great.
Jalen Hurts, man.
Jalen, man.
Getting that workout in after the game.
I mean, they're just...
Did you see that thing where he posted like the rat poison?
Oh, yeah.
No.
There's some...
What was that?
They were like, it was like some Oklahoma thing where they were like, we had the most like yards or something.
It's one of those like hype pictures, and he just posted it and said like rat poison, because Nick Saban would always refer to that, like all that hype stuff as rat poison.
I love
getting complacent, man. Can't do it.
He said that in an interview where they were like, Jalen, what do you think? You like scored 5 touchdowns in the game, and he was like, I don't listen to that rat poison.
Dude, I love Jalen Hurts. Man.
I love it. Yeah.
I hope he wins the Heisman, and I hope he beats Alabama.
I want to see nothing more than him to play Alabama and whoop Alabama.
I want to see him play Alabama, win by passing, because that was always the knock against him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, dude, looking at the rankings right now, this is one of those years, like, give me an 8-team playoff. Give me an 8-team playoff. You got, if you do a top 8 right now, Clemson would be in it. Mm-hmm. But you got Clemson, you got Bama, you got Georgia. LSU is just coming out of nowhere. Joe Burrow is just, he's lighting it up. You got Ohio State with Justin Fields, Oklahoma with Jalen Hurts. I think eventually, depending what happens with Wisconsin, you can see Jonathan Taylor in there, get some competition. There's just so many.
This is just like Heisman.
Exciting teams.
The Heisman tournament.
I would love to see that. Because I love March Madness.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
That is the best time of the year. You get all these teams playing each other, and you actually get a tournament where, it's getting better. We've got 4 teams instead of 2.
Yeah.
But, man, give me 8.
I've been saying since high school, man, 8 is the way to go. Because 4 still leaves a lot of teams going like, hey, we deserve a shot to get in,
8,
right? 16, people talk about 16. I'm like, that's a little too much. If you can't make it into the top 8, you really don't deserve. Then there's no point to the regular season, right? Then Michigan would be, if they lost 2 games to get in.
That's something I was thinking too about yesterday. Like watching these games, I'm like, Michigan loses 1 game, and we're all like, get Harbaugh out of here. He's awful. But a basketball team, they can lose, 10 games, and they're still making it to the tournament. They can lose 10 games and not even win their conference title, and they're making it to the tournament, and they can make a run.
Yeah.
So, I do love the purity of college football, where it's like, you gotta win every game. And I think it really gets the fans, hyped up about it. But, even if with the top 8, there's still a lot of pressure to do that and do really well. But 16, like you're saying, you can get some 2, maybe even 3 lost teams in there.
They kind of have that in a way with the conference matchup at the end, right? Right. Which will force, I'm assuming, Wisconsin to play an Ohio State or
Penn State or Michigan State or Michigan
or whoever comes out. Right. Yeah. So you kind of have that. It's just unofficial early rounds, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not. I know what you're saying. It's not exactly the same.
Yeah. I'm for a restructuring of all the conferences. Yeah. Right. So that it all comes to 8 teams, 8 conferences, and then the champion for each conference gets into the college football playoff, and then they have them play like that. Right. I like the way that.
You like the way the NFL is set up.
The NFL is set up. It is. It's set up really well. Yeah.
Also, with these conference matchups, I hate the East and West.
Yeah.
Do what the Big 12 does. Best 2 teams. I don't care if it's because they're like, it's Texas, Oklahoma. You guys are going to play again.
Yeah. No.
Do that. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Because you can easily say that the Big 10 East is way more stacked than the West.
Of course. Yeah.
So every year it's like, all right, person in the Big 10 East is probably going to win this unless it's a great Wisconsin team that comes out,
right?
Or whatever it may be. I say get rid of the divisions. put the top 2 teams in there and make that conference championship.
That's a good
Same
one.
with the SEC, like SEC West.
How many losses did Northwestern have last year when they went to the
They had 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like that's a joke.
If Michigan was on the West side, they would be in there every time, right?
Yeah.
The mantra would be different then too. It'd be like, oh, Michigan's a great team. They go to the Big Ten championship game every single year.
100%. Yeah. It changes everything.
It plays for Wisconsin so well, right?
Yeah.
They're the most historical program on that side of the conference, and every year they essentially get an easy ride to the Big Ten championship game.
Yep.
And they can lose 2 games on that side and still make it in.
Yeah. I think that's something that like when all these like Big Ten title or like the conference title games, because not every conference had them. I think that was something where they're like, oh, we have to have 2 divisions to like make this work. It's like, no, just throw out a title game and just 2 best teams.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to do it.
I think you're right. That would be great. We'll have to draft our letter to the Big Ten or something.
I'm in.
Yeah, we got a little off the rails there, but no, that's good discussion. Anybody got anything else?
I'm good, man. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Yeah, follow us on iTunes podcasts or Spotify,
Facebook,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, feel free to leave
Twitter.
us a Facebook comment if you have anything to say, or a YouTube comment if you have anything to say.
Comment anywhere.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
You want to hear about something? Let us know.
Yeah,
we are more than happy to talk about it.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well.
Yep, like and subscribe. But yeah,
go Blue.
Go Blue. Beat Iowa.